to tell you a story today that actually, when I first thought about it, I thought it doesn't really reflect very well on me, but I will let you be the judge of that. So, the story is about when I was, this is years ago, working a corporate job, and I was living in an apartment in an old mansion, as were like nine other families. And there was a woman who was my neighbor who was suntanning out on the front lawn. And I had a judgment about that. Thought something about that. And a few days later, I learned that this neighbor was dying of brain cancer. She was in the last stage. And I would imagine then being out in the sun and feeling the sun on your skin and having that time was maybe helpful in some way, and I didn't see it at that time. I was caught up in judgment. I had a judgment about her, like, oh, here I am working so hard, and it must be nice to just lie around. Is I didn't say that to her, but it's what I thought. And when I learned that the circumstance of why she was there, it was actually something that changed my life forever. So somebody who I had never met, I never even knew her name, but that she has taught me something so powerful going forward. And I've been thinking about judgment lately because I've been having conversations with people who are already creative, who are wondering if they will take their creativity to the next step. Will they, share it in some way? Will they, do they know enough? Do they this and that? Is it good enough? What will people say? And and I think about that in terms of the judgment too that people have about anybody who might like show up on YouTube like this and talk to a camera in their back garden. Like, why would she do that? Why would you do that? And so it occurs to me as I've been thinking about this is that the judgment that we have for other people is possibly the judgment that we have for ourselves. So if we're looking at other people's artwork and thinking, or at a craft fair or something, and we're thinking, well, I could have done that, or I could have done a better job of that, or why did she do that? Um, and it and in a really judgmental way, then I wonder if that isn't practicing that judgment for us. Because when we realize that most people don't actually care what you're doing, like, I hate to say it, but people are busy thinking about their own thing. They're busy about judging themselves. They're busy about wondering about their own things. They're not really thinking about you. So I yeah, I kind of have been thinking a lot about that, and I've been thinking about what that judgment then means. Like, what is the cost of being judgmental to others or being judgmental to yourself? And last week, for example, I shared my video about awe, and awe is a really big part of creativity and leading a creative life. And it's all about being in the present moment, right? That is essentially the thing, is being in the present moment. You see something, flower in the crack of the pavement. You're, as I did, was, watching these whales out when we were out in the bay, and they're just further out. Like, that sense of awe, that sense of wonder, so important. And it strikes me that if one is staying in judgment, if one is staying in the thinking part of the brain all the time, the other parts of the brain are not available. You're not available to see awe because you've judged that, you're not the kind of person that does this, or that's to this, or that's to that. And it makes me think that it's limiting. It's also limiting if you are judging other people, because it cuts you off from that. And it cuts you off from knowing more, or being, learning more, or whatever. And I think that there's an antidote to that judgment. And I think the antidote is curiosity. So if I, in that instance, back to that example, were to say, gosh, I wonder why she's there, or, oh, I don't even know her, maybe I'll introduce myself, or find out a little bit about her life, then I would have then had that empathy to think, gosh, in that really scary time for her, it was probably really a wonderful thing to be lying on the grass, feeling the sun on your back. And there's probably a lot of grief in there about, I'm not going to get to do this. And so there's probably something about how important that really was for her. And if I'd known that, I wouldn't have judged that. I would have probably brought her tea or something, like I probably would have wanted to be helpful in some way. But instead, I stayed in my own place. I stayed in that sense of judgment. And, I've been working this corporate job. I'm in this suit. It's really hot, driving a company car, da 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 da. Like there's a lot going on. And really, I missed out on that opportunity and to meet her and maybe to be of some help in some way and service in some way. Um, but also, I'm grateful to her, this stranger, for having taught me about judgment really, really early on. Like I was really young and we were probably about the same age. And so ever since then, I try really hard because it always comes up, and judgment for oneself is always a thing. Like for me, I'm more judgy about myself. I'm harder on myself than I am on anybody else. So I have to constantly be reminding myself, well, you're just learning this. Like, don't forget, you've never done this before. Don't forget you're trying, because that's how I view others. So it's easy then for me to go, oh, yeah, right, of course. Yeah, just give yourself a break and keep going, keep trying. And hey, by the way, good for you for keeping going. Good for you for trying this thing that you've never done before. And good for you for not missing out on moments of awe, on moments of learning more through your creativity. So that's really what I wanted to say today is about, not letting judgment, the judgment of, yourself. I am too old to try new creative endeavors. I, should know this by now. I da da da. There's lots of shoulds in those kinds of statements too, right? So that's a clue. If you see if you see a should, you could change it to a could. You could try that, right? Like I should be trying to grow new flowers. Well, you instead of saying that, you could say I could try growing some other flowers next year. I could get some seeds this year and plant them next year, or plant them in the fall for next year, or whatever it is in your climate. So that's quite possible, right? That's quite possible. And these are all the themes, the kinds of themes that we're going to talk about in Begin Again, my free 3-day workshop that's coming up September 9th. I'm really excited about it. And as people are signing up from all over Canada, from France, from England, all these different places, it's going to be so much fun. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to help other women come back to their creativity in a really kind and gentle and fun way. And yeah, I really can't wait. So if this is something for you, and if you have enjoyed following me for a while, or if there's something that you are curious about, I would really encourage you to follow that curiosity, to see, well, let's just try it. Like it's free for one thing. If you can't make all the sessions, there are 3 sessions at noon Pacific on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. If you can't make those, that's okay. I'll send you the replay and you can do the stuff outside of that time. So it's it's really low stakes in insofar as signing up and trying something. And if you have an inkling that being creative is something that you would like to be able to say about yourself, and so that you can come back to it in whatever way that is for you. It's different for everybody. In whatever creative way that is for you, then I would love for you to join us on the 9th. Begin Again. The information is below. And yeah, just to explore some of these different things so that you too can be living a creative life in all aspects of your life, by the way, not just like in the garden out here like I am today, but whether you are in that corporate job and you are leading a team of people, or you are leading the family at home, whatever it is, um, creativity can help you walk alongside all of that. Remember, having a creative mindset is something that also helps you solve problems. And so that's why it helps you walk alongside difficult times. And I've had those. So I can share more about that later. Anyway, always share the flowers. I did just hold them up quickly, but these are the second flush of these roses. I just think that they are. I just got there's a kiwi plant that has gone crazy behind the camera here, and I just saw it in the wind. Um, anyway, I made this vase at a friend's place. It was really fun. And do they have Yes, and they do have a scent. So that's a wonderful thing, because that's one of the things I love about June. June's one of my favorite months for that reason. It's my birthday month, and also it's rose season. So I have to remind myself, oh yeah, August and September can also be rose season when you've taken all of the spent buds and so on off, and trimmed it properly, and then it's coming back, and just yeah. So we sure appreciate it almost more the second time, because it's like feels like a bit of a bonus. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Please consider joining me and begin again. And I wish you peace on your path.